David Westberg, the CEO of Nanexa. I am a chemical engineer as my background. That was many years ago. So since then, and that was actually in the late 80s. So I've been in the pharma industry since then, starting off at the Swedish big pharma companies, Pharmashell, Pfizer. Did that for about half of my time in my career, and then worked with basically Swedish smaller entities like there's Orexo is one company I worked quite a bit with, and was responsible for two of their projects going from ID to the market in the US. And I joined Nanexa in 2015 when we did an IPO. And built the company since, actually. And at that time, we were just 3 people, and there were about 30 now. So taking, I think, 3 projects into clinical development, and we're really progressing well, I think. Surely, that's an area where long-acting really has been successful, and I think it will grow into more products coming into that area. However, I think there are more areas, more indication areas where long-acting will grow dramatically, I think, over the years to come. One area where we are present is within type 2 diabetes and obesity. We know the adherence to treatment is quite low, actually, in that patient group. Actually lower than 50%, according to some investigations. And having less frequent dosing, we believe, is one of the tools that you can use to actually increase the compliance, adherence to treatment. So so that is one part, of course, in oncology. We have done some feasibility studies in oncology. Also, 2 of our clinical programs has been within oncology. We've done some work with intratumoral administration, with quite interesting results actually from that. So I think there's a broad usage of long-acting injectables, and you can see, I think, the market, if you look at progress market reports and so on, there's an increase of over 10% yearly growth for long-acting injectables. So definitely it is available, and it will grow dramatically, I think. Yeah, I think that's a good question, actually, and that we are fighting every day in my job. And of course, having a good balance between what do you say, a burst release and a long acting is, of course, key to this. And especially if you work with compounds that has a high water solubility. There's a tendency that there will be a very high Cmax, and you get a lot of the DPI actually released over the first day or 2. Obviously, that's nothing that you want to have, and we have been really keen on being able to lower the initial release to get a very smooth release curve, and having the ratio between Cmax and C trough is of course a challenge sometimes, and I think that is one of the challenges. The other is, of course, the volume, injection volume. If you have a less potent drug, you want to inject. You rather want to have the injection volume below 1 milliliter, I think. And so then drug load is a really important component of drug development. And we have seen some really good results with our technology I can come to that a bit later, but those are things that I think are key to being able to make long-acting injectables that is also attractive at the marketplace. So Pharmashell is completely new, I think. approach to drug delivery and long-acting injectable. What we do is that we coat microparticles of API. That could be spray-dried peptides or spray-dried monoclonals or just milled small molecules. But those microparticles, we coat all the surface of those particles, those individual particles actually, with an inorganic oxide. And that inorganic oxide has itself a very low solubility. So when we do a suspension of those particles and inject them, for instance, subcutaneously, the shell material will start to dissolve into its ions and leave sort of the injection site into the plasma. And as it does, there will be available API that gradually then dissolves in the speed that an API do dissolve, and enters into the plasma, and we get a slow release over time, actually. So that is how our shell, Pharmashell works. And the application, how we apply the shell composition, is actually through a process called atomic layer deposition. It's not really used in the pharma industry until we have taken the technology to the pharma industry. But it is a technology that is widely used in other applications, specifically the electronics application. But we have found that this is a way to control the release in a very precise way. It's a gas phase process. It's sort of a one unit operation process, quite easy actually to perform, and there's no need sort of for getting rid of solvents or so. There are no solvents used. There are no downstream processing at all, actually. So when we have created the shell on top of these particles, they are ready to make a suspension and then fill on a syringe, and then you're ready to go, actually. So, and we have, some of the features is, of course, really, really high drug load, because the shell is like 10 to 30 nanometers in thickness. So we add very, very little material to the drug, actually. So most of what we have is API, active component, or active active. What else is there to say? There's a lot to say, but really, I think it's a very viable and a very versatile process. We have worked with, I think, 20 or 25, 30 different small molecules. I think we worked with well over 10, maybe 20 different peptides. We've done monoclonal antibodies. We have done just a few testing on oligos as well, to see whether our process is interrupting with the structure of a monoclonal, for instance. But that we don't. so the monoclonal stays as it is, and just the fact that we can then make really, really high concentrated suspensions out of monoclonals is one advantage, of course. So we're looking forward to test a few more applications, and but our focus right now is actually within the type 2 diabetes area with our project that we call Next 22. That's a 1 monthly liraglutide product, and we entered into clinical phase last year, and we have now some really, really good data on a phase 1 study showing that we have a release over 1 month. We have a good ratio between Cmax, Ctrough. That could be yet even more improved, actually, by optimizing the process. But we're really keen on seeing how we can develop that further, with potentially a co-development with another company or so on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I already have quite a number of booked meetings, of course, with a lot of interesting and exciting companies. What I would like is to pursue the idea of developing our next 22 together with another company. And I hope that we can proceed in the discussions that we already have with companies, and also find new ones that could be interested in this. It is, of course, a huge market for this type of product, and we know that less frequent dosing is something that will drive the product development and the market there. And I think even it is important for the type 2 diabetes patients, but maybe even more important for the obesity patients. But so that is what I'm looking forward to, and I'm also looking forward to presenting our technology to other companies. I know there are some companies that are interested in monoclonal antibodies and having long acting of monoclonals. And we have some that we have booked meetings with, and I'm really looking forward to meet them. So that's basically it. I mean, Bio is a conference where we meet a lot of companies, and I think I'm really looking forward to it.